Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another RuneScape news coverage video. For this video, we're going to talk about the bank rework because on the latest live stream today, Jagex showed off some cool new features. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. Let's go.
Jagex is the illest. What you talking about, Willis?
Alright guys, before we get started, I just want to quickly note that we got a surprise double XP weekend right around the corner. So you heard that correctly. Just a couple of weeks from now, more specifically July 26th, midday at 12. To July 29th, 11:59 late morning, all members will experience 100% XP boost. Non-members will still get their 20% XP boost as per usual for double XP weekends. So you only got a couple of weeks to prepare for this, but just keep that in mind. July 26th through the 29th double XP weekend. That being said, let's jump into these bank improvement changes. So first and foremost, you'll see that Jagex has actually moved the tab icons off to the left-hand side of the bank, as opposed to as they were or as they are currently at the top of your bank. This will help prevent, assuming your bank is tall enough, any scrolling, considering they're giving us now 15 bank tabs as opposed to 9 that we currently have. Another cool feature is if you right click on any one of your given tabs, you'll have the ability to customize them. You can change the icon to the various different icons you're seeing here on screen to better differentiate what is in that tab. You're no longer bound to the tab showing or displaying only the first item in that given tab. You have the freedom to change those icons as you so wish. In addition to that, you'll be able to rename your tabs so you can better differentiate them in that regard. The names will be displayed on a mouse over, as well as if you're looking through all of your bank with all the tabs, every time there's a new tab break, you'll notice here, for example, it says Hellware, that it displays the name that you've assigned for that given tab. Now, going back to what I was talking about earlier about making your bank taller, if you do this now with these changes that they've implemented, you'll notice on the right hand side that the worn equipment tab is then displayed underneath your inventory. If you were able to make your bank interface even taller, it would then display your beast of burden underneath that, and you'll have the ability to change those all three on the fly. Now, they didn't touch on this, but I'm assuming if you want to directly withdraw to any one of these given tabs, you still need to have that tab selected at the top, but I'm not entirely sure. Worst case scenario, I'm sure dragging any item from your bank to any one of these interfaces will also withdraw them to that, although it's a little slower because you'd have to drag instead of left click. But just keep that in mind. That all being said, another amazing feature showed off with this is not only will you be able to make your bank taller, but for the first time in RuneScape, you can now make your bank wider. Just take a look at this. This looks amazing. You could have a full screen bank covering the entire area of your bank, and you can display a lot of items on screen at once. This looks absolutely amazing, and I'm really excited for it. In case you're curious, here's what it looks like in Legacy mode, so you get to see that contrast if you're somebody who prefers that mode skin. Well, there you go. In addition to that, I also got a picture of what it looks like on mobile. As you can see here, it will take up the size of your mobile screen, which should be far easier to navigate the bank. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And it does mean that Jagex can then display your bank in a full 16:9 aspect ratio, which is really cool to say the least. So that all being said, I just want to close out with just a couple of quality of life changes to presets. So you can see here the preset changing feature. You'll notice these bullet points on each preset on the right hand side over here. Now these correspond with the various icons on the bottom here, your inventory, your worn equipment, your beast of burden. If you so wish, you can toggle these bullet points on and off on the fly here on this edit screen without having to click on each individual one and unchecking inventory, worn equipment, or beast of burden. Just a neat little fix that you can do right then and there to make managing presets a little easier. Also, as a side note, if you're somebody who happens to have multiple items augmented, for example, you have multiple wands for different switches, currently using presets with those, you may withdraw one of those items that you don't want, because it's pretty random if you have multiples of augmented items. That will no longer be the case whenever this goes live. But just to keep in mind, when it does go live, you do have to resave your presets in order for those changes to take effect. So keep that in mind as well. That will be when this goes live, whenever that happens to be the case. So if you want that specific augmented Drygore or wand, or whatever the case may be, that will no longer be a problem with this update. That being said, that pretty much concludes all the changes that were showed off with today's live stream. I do not, unfortunately, have an ETA of the bank or even the bank beta. We're going to have to wait to see when we get more of that, hopefully shortly. And I will cover it here on the channel when we do get that information, so stay tuned for that. With that, I'm going to wrap up the video. If you have enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. And with that, I am out. Aloha.